Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Holistic Soul Podcast. Today, we're going to tune into the new moon in Sagittarius, and I'm going to give a sign-by-sign horoscope and tarot pool for each sign. So we'll do an overview quickly. I talked about the new moon in Sagittarius in my previous episode, but this is going to be specific to how can you use this energy for setting the intentions for the year ahead. And with the assistance of tarot, just kind of diving in a little bit more into some guidance. And listen for your sun, moon, and rising sign. I'm going to be very honest, your rising sign is going to feel the most accurate. And when I've explained to clients in the past or friends, they're like, why does that resonate? It's because as an astrologer, when we are setting a horoscope and looking at giving guidance, we actually put that sign as the rising sign or the sign on the eastern horizon, which sets the tone for the chart. Now, choose what resonates and leave what doesn't. But if you don't know your rising sign, it's very time of birth dependent, so you can look that up. Or you can just listen for your sun or moon sign as well. You will get something out of this. Take what you need, leave what you don't. That's the beauty of working with astrology and tarot, is that it's meant to validate what you are feeling inside. Okay? It's giving you validation. I wonder why this is coming up for me. Oh, this makes sense, right? So let's get started talking about the new moon in Sagittarius. I'm actually recording this on December 18th. Very early in the morning, per usual. It's very windy here in Colorado, crazy high winds. But as I feel into it, it feels very much like the wind is pushing out the stagnant, the old, because at this phase of the moon, which is right before the new moon, we call it the balsamic dark moon. Okay, so it's called the balsamic phase, like the vinegar, right? But it's the darkest point of the moon, and it's this really potent energy where we get to look at everything over the past year and even longer. But if we're talking about the lunar cycles from new moon to full moon in each sign, we're looking at the past year and all of the growth and evolution we had, plus all of the stuff we learned on a really deep soul level that necessarily didn't feel great, in the sense of we learn through friction and growth. We learn through the trials and the fears and the human experience of what it means to, for example, be in relationship or trying to achieve a goal, anything along those lines. So we're really sinking into the soul right now, really diving deep. Oftentimes during the dark moon phase, we might feel some of those past hurts or fears come to the surface. We might feel very emotional. We might feel really connected to that part of ourselves. I would also say this is true because this new moon is squaring Saturn and Neptune, and both of them are finishing up their cycle in Pisces. And Pisces relates to the 12th house in astrology, which relates to the end of a cycle, which relates to the dark moon. So we've got a lot of energy that's pointing to emotional, karmic, even ancestral, the weight of the past. And it's asking you may feel ready for something new, and this new moon in Sagittarius is preparing you for a new adventure. But at the same time, you might have lingering doubts, responsibilities, fears, or inherited narratives, either from family or society, that are having you question these new beginnings that you want. And you might be stepping back into feeling those, to process those, so that when we have this new moon in Sagittarius, which is exact Friday, December 19th at 4:44 p.m. Mountain Time. And so for some of you, that might be into the 20th of December, especially if you're out of the United States. that's when the new moon is exact. That's when the sun and the moon come together at 28 degrees of Sagittarius, and that's when we plant those seeds of intention. When we work with the new moon, it's a little bit different than the full moon. The full moon, we can feel and do the rituals about 3 or 4 days before and 3 or 4 days after, whereas the new moon is the most potent right when it happens and the following days, okay, because you're planting this intention. So with that being said, let's get started with the sign of Aries. And so remember, sun, moon, or rising sign, listen to all of them or choose the ones you want to listen to. So for Aries, this new moon is hitting your 9th house, and that's the house of expansion, travel, higher education, your belief system, your philosophy. And what you might be feeling at this time is this really strong urge to break free from old belief systems or old patterns of thinking and commit to like a new vision for your life, right? Remember that square to Saturn and Neptune in Pisces is saying there might be doubts and subconscious fears that are surfacing or old beliefs. And so it's asking you to really set the intentions about expanding your perspective while also being very grounded in reality. Because growth really comes when you integrate what you've learned from the past, but you don't limit your future. And what I love for you, Aries, is that I pulled the Empress card, which is beautiful energy of what are you birthing in the year ahead. For some of you, this is an intuitive hit, so please take it. If it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. But for some of you, there might actually be a pregnancy or a birth, but it doesn't have to be that physical manifestation. It can also be, what are you birthing creatively? What are you birthing in your life that feels new and exciting? But it takes time for you to nurture that and to, at the same time, release any doubts or fears around your ability to create this new life, to create this new belief system you have for yourself. Taurus, this new moon activates your 8th house of transformation and intimacy and shared resources. And so this is a chapter for you, a new intention around trust and vulnerability. It might also involve some financial negotiations, or because in the 8th house is very much about others' finances and yours finances mingling. So when we think about vulnerability and like really sharing resources with other people, it also is about intimacy. And what does intimacy mean to you? And how can you open up and trust more? Whenever the 8th house is activated, it's often going to bring about, especially with the square to Neptune in Pisces, where those abandonment wounds are, right? That have caused you to not trust. I did a post one time about the different layers of trust, and it starts with trusting yourself, then trusting life, and then trusting spirit. And mixed in there is trusting other people, especially with that trusting life. When you feel out of control is when you're really tested with that trust. And so this is really bringing up where you might need to let go of old emotional wounds, expectations, or patterns that have held you back from truly being vulnerable and truly connecting with other people. So set the intentions around the conscious release of that, because your card for this new moon is the 10 of Pentacles, and it's just like, how beautiful. The 10 of Pentacles is like top manifestation of a life that you feel secure and happy and that you're sharing with other people. If you've seen the card, it's often a couple and kids and all these pentacle coins. And hello, Taurus, you love money because you're an earth sign here. So there is a chance to really experience that level of, trust and vulnerability and intimacy and sharing your life and resources with others. But first we need to let go of things that keep repeating or holding you back from opening up to that. Okay, Gemini, this is a really important new moon because it lands in your 7th house of relationships and commitments. So, when we are talking about the possibilities or calling in for this new way of relating to other people, it's really important with this square to Neptune and Saturn that you have to look at past disappointments or projections that you're placing on the possibilities of these new types of relationships, because those are resurfacing at this time for you to see what you're ready to leave behind and what is possible when it comes to relationship, what is possible when it comes to partnerships. Now, this can be partnerships of all kinds. That's romantic, that's business, that's friendship. The 7th house really represents the type of person you want to connect with and the type of relationship you want to be in that really balances out your energy, because Sagittarius is the opposite sign to Gemini. And so you both are mutable. Gemini is mutable air, Sagittarius is mutable fire. So your approach is somewhat similar, but Sagittarius is going to kind of take a little bit more risk because of what it feels. Whereas you, Gemini, you're just overthinking over here, right? Like you're thinking too much. How does it feel, right? Where is your truth, right? Where do you want to see mutual growth in partnership and somebody that has shared values? Let go of the old stories, because Gemini, you're really good at replaying those old stories in your head. What I love for you is you got the 2 of Wands. And the 2 of Wands, and Wands in tarot are fire, which is Sagittarius energy. So 2 of Wands is like, gosh, there's so much possibility for how you partner in the future. But that one wand, that she's holding one wand and she's looking out the window and this other wand is sitting behind her. That old story is still there though. Don't let that hold you back from the possibility of what could be. Okay, Cancer, this new moon highlights your 6th house of health, wellness, daily routines, daily work life, daily responsibilities, and you may feel motivated or really inspired to change how you take care of yourself, how you take care of your body, how you structure your days, how you work, because the 6th house can be your daily work, how you show up to be of service. And with that square to Saturn and Neptune, you might be burnt out. I'm not going to lie. You might feel like there's over responsibility, or that there are things that are influencing your health and wellness that honestly come from your desire to be of service and to help other people, but maybe to the detriment of your own self-care. So for me, when I look at kind of this energy of this new moon, there's some sort of imbalance happening. And so if you're starting to feel like the burnt out energy, you're starting to feel some maybe physical manifestations on the health level, really honor your need for rest, really honor your need for self-care. And I pulled the Justice card, but it's in reverse for you for this new moon in Sagittarius, which is just confirming that something's out of balance. And in order to figure out what that is, you may need to kind of create more sustainable rhythms that honor your mind, body, and soul. And you need to rest, and you need to stop trying to fix everybody. And you need to stop taking on everything as your own, because you are very compassionate and you are very much the nurturer of the zodiac. But you have to nurture yourself first, okay? So in this year ahead, when you're setting this new moon intentions in your 6th house, it's like, okay, this next year, I'm not going to overextend myself. I'm going to give myself space for self-care, self-love, so that I can show up for others and in a way that I don't feel stretched. I don't feel like the burden of over-responsibility. That's that square to Saturn that's happening here. It's like, where are you just taking on stuff that's not your own to take on? Calling you out there, okay? Because it's not sustainable. And Saturn is always saying, hey, this isn't sustainable. Let's create a new structure. So what new habits, daily routines, health and wellness things can you create that are going to provide you with a feeling of expansion and growth and less burnout? Okay, Leo, this new moon activates your fifth house of creativity, of pleasure, self-expression. It's also the house of children. It's the house of play, pleasure, hobbies. So it's really important that you take creative risks at this time. You might be feeling called to express yourself in a new way or start a new hobby, or for some of you, it might be making the commitment to have children or bring children into this world. You might also be allowing your own inner child to come out and play. Where, Leo, you're pretty good about your inner child, but it's more so like maybe you've had these old fears or past disappointments that have really muted your joy. So bring your joy back, right? What brings you joy? Ask yourself, what brings me joy? And let's put the intention to express yourself in a way that comes from your heart. Leo, you rule the heart. So your fellow fire sign Sagittarius says, like, where have you gotten stuck in fear that has blocked you from expressing that beautiful heart of yours? So set the intention around expressing yourself. I pulled the Hierophant card for you, which is a card of commitment. It's a card of, and I love that it's the number 5. So there's a need for change of how you go about it. And on this card, I'll post the picture as a visual, but it's this staircase leading up with this beautiful, like, mandala at the top, and he's sitting at the bottom and he's laughing and he feels joyful. And there's this potential for this ascension to this level of joy that is possible. And that's kind of what this new moon in Sagittarius feels like for you, Leo. It feels like there's a lot of possibility to really feel and express joy. But first, we need to make sure that we're letting go of any fears or old patterns or past disappointments that you keep projecting onto your ability to feel that much joy in your life. I'm almost getting this energy of like, don't think, oh, this is too good to be true. No, like, this is it. This is mine. I'm going to experience this. I have the innate ability to feel this much joy. As humans, we tend to focus on the negative. That's what our minds are programmed to do. So really focus on the positive and focus on that inner light that shines within you, Leo, because it's bright. It's very bright. And sometimes it scares people. Let it, okay? Because you're meant to shine in this lifetime. Okay, Virgo, this new moon is activating your 4th house of home, family, systems, your roots, like the roots of a tree, like your emotional foundation. So there are new beginnings around home and family that might be showing up for you, Virgo. But the square to Saturn and Neptune can really show family patterns or family expectations or current responsibilities, specifically emotionally, that are having you cling to the past, right? You might be clinging to this something that happened in childhood, something that happened in your own family system that's shaping your need or how you go about creating emotional safety and security. So ask yourself what feels good and what your inner foundation, your inner world needs, and who you're becoming in that area of your life. What new adventure? It's not just where you have been or the past. I'm almost getting, for some of you, this energy of healing some family wound, right? And that makes sense because your card for this new moon is the Star, which very much talks about, yes, it's about shining, but before you can shine, the star energy relates to Aquarius energy. And before you can kind of live your life in the most authentic way, there's oftentimes an emotional wounding or pattern from your childhood or your family system that is blocking that. So there is a little bit for you, Virgo, some healing especially right now in this potent dark moon, to come through for you to really activate and create a new sense of home and family and a new beginning in that area of life over the next year. So I love the star card, but oftentimes when I pull it, it really represents this need to heal so that you can really create a home, family, emotional foundation that is so authentic to you, right? Not shaped by the expectations of others. Gosh, feel that. Or society, not shaped by the expectations of others, right? F that, right? No. I mean, my Aquarius rising is like, oh, hell no, So like lean into that energy for you, Virgo. I think it's really important for this new moon. Okay, Libra. This new moon is really activating your third house of communication, your learning, your mindset. So there's really a local community, neighbors, siblings if you have them, or people who feel like siblings, So there's an important conversation or perspective that's really emerging at this time. The need for a new adventure, potentially in your local community, and the square to Saturn and Neptune, there are some outdated mental narratives and people-pleasing tendencies. Let's repeat that, people-pleasing tendencies. If you have any Libra energy in this lifetime, you're working through the need to please other people and at the sacrifice of your own self. That is a Libra archetypal theme for everybody who has Libra energy. There might be some influences that are shifting how you communicate. For example, oftentimes I see with the Libra energy is like the fear of communicating your truth because you don't want to upset the other person. But gosh, Libra, you're so compassionate. Just speak your truth. You're always going to do it in a way. Well, let me take that back. Maybe not always. If you don't speak your truth, resentment builds, and that's when the sharp tongue of Libra can come out. So have a healthy outlet for your needs, and speak your truth with clarity and compassion. Don't carry those old stories that no longer fit your narrative. No more people-pleasing tendencies, okay? There is a need for an awakening to a new way of being in your community, being in your mind, communicating with other people. I pulled the Judgment card for you, which, by the way, when I look at this overall spread, there are 6 major arcanas that I pulled, which is huge. So major arcanas and tarot are going to be more potent than the court cards or some of the other cards. But so if your sign got a major arcana, which is Aries, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Libra, and then I'll talk to the Sagittarius, you did too, but we'll get to that. Anyways, so you got the Judgment card, Libra, and the Judgment card it's beautiful. It's this woman who's releasing this part of herself that's like an old story, an old narrative, and is awakening to a new way of thinking, of communicating, and a new perspective. And I also very much feel this for you is because something about getting out into your community. Find a local yoga studio. Go to more in-person things. Because I'll be honest, 2026, I feel we're going to be doing more in-person things. I'm a Libra. And so I really feel this deeply. I just signed up to host some local workshops in my neighborhood. So I really feel there's a need to get out. Libra, you are a social sign. You're an air sign. You love to connect with the right people. Let's put a caveat there. Pay attention to the people that bring a new, fresh perspective into your life, and maybe explore some options in your community for that. Okay, Scorpio, this new moon activates your second house of core values, money, how you earn money. So it's money coming in. It's also how you spend money, so pay attention to that. And self-worth. So you might be ready to claim more, both financially, tangibly, physically, but also energetically when it comes to worth and values. The square to Neptune and Saturn can bring old beliefs around your worth. or maybe you're noticing there's a bit of a scarcity mindset, or your emotional attachment to financial, physical, tangible security. And so there's something here about release these old narratives around survival, like how I put clinging energy. You're a fixed sign, so you tend to hold on to things. It's hard for you to let go, Scorpio, and you'll hold on to things. And especially in the emotional realm, it's like you'll drown in the emotion of something. So come up for air. The Sagittarius is like, let's move a little bit more, move through this energy instead of getting stuck in it, and redefining your value, your worth, and setting intentions around that. That's really what this new moon in Sagittarius is for you, Scorpio. I love the card I pulled for you. I actually pulled the Sagittarius card, which is the Knight of Wands. And so there's a horse on this. So there's something about the year of the horse coming up, which is 2026. And along with the Sagittarius new moon, that's really motivating. But when I see this card and I feel into this energy for you, it's really about moving out of the old energy. Can I repeat that? Get out of the old energy. Come up for air. Don't drown in it. Let it go. Let it go. All fixed signs. I just want to say, let it go. Let it go. Right? There's no need to hold on to it so tight. Yes, appreciate and give gratitude for whatever you're holding on to, what it has shown you, but you have to let go a bit in order to move forward, especially around your worth, that financial connection and attachment to material security. There's something really important there for you. And what is possible? What's a new adventure? What's something you can do to bring in more money, but that's really aligned with your values? And that's really important for this new moon. Okay, Sagittarius, happy new moon. Okay. So this new moon is activating your first house, which is your sense of self, how you answer the question, who am I? Right? And it's a personal reset for you. And there's the end of a chapter and the beginning of a new adventure ahead for you, specifically around your identity. But with that square to Neptune and Saturn, how is your identity shaped by past influences externally within yourself, old narratives. So you're kind of torn between who you've been and who you're becoming. And you're really inspired to become something that feels so in alignment with your truth, right? So in alignment with what you feel as your absolute, just motivating factor and inspiration. What inspires you? Sagittarius, just like Gemini, you're always asking why. Why do I feel this way? Why? It's and you're very curious. So follow that curiosity, right? Stop letting others define you and your identity, and allow yourself to explore the possibility of what could be. Honor that within yourself. I pulled the Hangman for you, which very much feels like a pause. And I love that with new moon energy, because we are planting seeds. You don't fully have the exact clarity of what it is, but there's a need for change. There's a new chapter emerging for you. And so with the Hanged Man, it's plant the seeds of, okay, there's a new beginning for me. And I will trust that I will get the clarity to know exactly what that's going to be as we move through the months ahead and into the year. Especially around the year of the horse. When we have the Chinese New Year, we shift the energy and pay attention to what's emerging within you, because the Hangman is just saying, pause. Maybe you're going to pick up a book. Maybe you're going to sign up to take a trip, because that's Sagittarius' favorite thing. So, but it's about expanding your perspective and realizing that your identity doesn't have to be shaped by others. It's shaped by what inspires you. Gosh, never cage a Sagittarius in at all, okay? Sun, moon, rising. I'm a Sag moon, so I feel that, because as soon as they feel caged in, they really struggle because they don't have the wide open space to explore, and you kind of need that. And that doesn't have to be physically, it's also mentally and emotionally, right? So take the time to kind of release the past and the story of who you've been, and really think about the future of who you're becoming. And I love that for you, Sagittarius. Okay, Capricorn, this new moon falls in your 12th house. It's really about rest, release, and integration, but more so on a spiritual, soulful level. Something in you is dissolving, but it's dissolving in a quiet, internal, subconscious way. With the square to Neptune and Saturn in Pisces, really looking at unconscious patterns, burdens, and emotional responsibilities that you've put on yourself, especially around achieving. Capricorn, you are very good at achieving. You are such a good manifester. You're a hard worker, but you also oftentimes achieve so that you can prove something instead of achieving because it's something you really truly desire. You might also achieve because you feel like there's a responsibility for you that you have to meet. And you're the individual that when you were young, you were like a little adult, right? You've always taken responsibility for things, but there's a little bit of what can you release that's no longer your responsibility so that you can surrender, heal, and really make peace with what is or has ended in your life so you can create a more balanced approach in your life. So I love that for you, I pulled the 6 of Pentacles, which is all about reciprocity and especially balanced energy when it comes to security, stability, which, that's your love language, Capricorn, accountability. Give it to me. That's Capricorn energy, right? It's show me the tangible results, the practical structure. But one of the things that's coming through with this energy is you can't keep taking everything on, and you can't keep running yourself into the ground. You have to delegate and let go of control. Please listen to that, Capricorn, because your need for control really comes from feeling unstable when you don't know what the outcome is, and the responsibility being placed on you both from yourself and externally. I'll be honest, Capricorn, you put way more responsibility on your shoulders than anyone else does. You take it on. It's you have something to prove. You have nothing to prove. Let go, heal, and take care of yourself so that you have, over the next year, a more balanced, reciprocal approach to life. Delegate, 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 okay? Where could you let go of some of these responsibilities? Okay, Aquarius. This new moon activates your 11th house of community, friendships, and what's your vision for the future? What are some new dreams or goals that are really emerging for you? What's that new adventure you want to take when it comes to your connections at large, right? So the 11th house is our networks, our the people and environments, the environments that feel supportive, and the friendships and then the connections that feel like they support your future goals and visions. The square to Neptune and Saturn is talking about past disappointments or potentially boundaries that may have been overstepped, or, you may have been not taken seriously or not feeling like you belong in this new vision for your future. And it's really saying this new moon in Sagittarius is envision yourself there. You are already there, right? Live in that inspiration and really ground into the need to connect with people that support your dreams for the future. Are they energy giving or are they energy taking? pay attention to that. Are they energy giving or are they energy taking? Like, ask yourself that, because if they're energy giving, those are the people you want to surround yourselves with. Those are the environments you want to be in. If they're energy taking, you need to have better boundaries, because you'll be drained and you won't have the energy you need to manifest the huge goals that are coming. What I love is I pulled the Ace of Pentacles for you. What a beautiful card of manifesting a new goal, or manifesting a new vision or a dream for the future. I mean, that is a manifestation. Aces are manifestations in tarot, and this is the only ace that came up during this pull, but it's really about grounded wisdom, grounded manifestation, in the sense of like, you're an air sign, Aquarius, so like the ideas are there, but how do you make it a reality? And we're planting the seeds. We're not fully, some of you will be taking action, right? And some of you will be planting the seeds to start taking action. With the ace, I do believe there is a bit of movement. So there is something you're taking. There is some movement happening, even at this very early stage of the lunar cycle for this new moon. There's definitely an intention that has a structure to it happening. In Aquarius, you are co-ruled by Saturn. So your ability to make something manifest and to create a structure that works to achieve this new goal, like, you're able to do it. You might do it in a more visionary way, but you're able to do it. So I love this Ace of Pentacles of what's coming up for you in the year ahead, but really pay attention. I'm going back to like, is it energy giving or is it energy taking? And really honor the connections and the friendships and the community that feel energy giving, because they're going to help you achieve your goals. Okay, Pisces, this new moon lights up your 10th house of career and purpose and roles and responsibilities and public image. So you may be feeling called to step into a new level of visibility or responsibility, a new role, for example, a new job. It is squaring Neptune and Saturn, which is asking you to release anything that no longer aligns to your mission and goals in life, and set intentions around a vision of success that you see for both, your physical self, your emotional self, and your soul, like on all levels. So there really is something about moving towards a job, a role, a career. And now your job doesn't have to also be your mission in life. I need to clarify that. In astrology, we look to our midheaven. That tells us more about our work. But our 10th house can be like all of the roles we have, and what's the role that feels the most aligned to your soul. Go after that. I mean, Pisces, you are the sponges of the zodiac. So one of the things I would say with the square to Neptune and Saturn is, you probably have been trying to take on roles that are influenced from your external world, that people say, you should do this. Oh, okay, I can adapt to anything. I'll do that. But I really want to get you to go inward at this time and say, no, what aligns to my truth? What aligns to what my soul wants? Not what other people say I want or what other people say I should do. It's like, what do I feel so lit up about and so excited about with this Sag new moon in my 10th house? I pulled the King of Pentacles for you, so gosh, I love this energy. It is about manifestation. Any pentacles is going to be physical manifestation, about money, about success. And the King of Pentacles really feels like there's so much possibility, and trust that you have everything within you that you need to create this reality, this role, this image, this purpose, this career, whatever's coming up for you, that you have everything you need within yourself, that you don't need to rely on external forces or external situations to get you there. Trust it. Trust yourself. Trust your very strong intuition, Pisces. Pisces, you are so intuitive. The problem is you, like I said, you are an emotional sponge. So your intuition is often blocked by other people's feelings. And so sometimes you don't know what's yours and what's other people's. So really get to the reality of your dreams, okay? The reality of your soul, and find out what is wanting to manifest through you in those areas of in that area of your life. Okay. So yeah, I'm excited. I love Sagittarius energy, being a Sag moon myself, and there's just so much possibility. One thing I think that's really interesting is I didn't get one sword card in this tarot pool. A lot of earth, a lot of fire, and a lot of major arcana. So it feels like a really big shifting and a really inspiring new moon for us all. And if you're listening to this after the 19th of December 2025, this energy is still happening. It's still potent through all of 2026 until we have the next new moon in Sagittarius in December of 2026. So this is time, within this year, it's really pay attention and go back and re-listen if you feel like, if you get through the year halfway through and you're like, wow, okay, especially when we ever get close to the full moon in Sagittarius, which will happen in Gemini season. So it's often a good check-in point to say what has manifested since then. So until next time, happy new moon.